So good day, everybody. So my name is Henric SUURONEN, and I'm going to give a quick brief talk about killer benefit HTML5 in social games. And let's dive into it. So this is me, a nice picture done by our artist. But I have quite a lot of experience in social games. So I've been around 4.5 years making social games, first at Digital Chocolate, where I did a game Tower Blocks in September. That was the time when people were playing Jetman, Scrabblers, and the Mouse Hunt on Facebook. And then I did Tower Blocks, Digital Chocolate, and it was fairly well received, so went to 180,000 DAU. Later I was working on iPhone, did a lot of game Tower Blocks, Roller Coaster Rush, Crazy Pig and Catapult, all of them #1 on free. Then dived back into social games again, did MMA Pro Fighter and Millionaire City, which was the 6th biggest game on Facebook 2010. So biggest virtual items games not done by Zynga, which is always nice. Past 1.5 years I was head of studio at Wooga. I joined them, I think I was number 40. And when I left 2 months ago, it was a 170 people company with 11 million DAU, and guess you have played their games. Diamond Dash, for example, is hugely, immensely popular in Singapore. So I've seen it, maybe 20 people playing it on the metro while commuting to work. And my latest venture is the Nonstop Games. So HTML5 pure company and a games company. And it's based here in Singapore. I'm also known for my blog, Games Changed My Life, where I try to kind of share and contribute also to the field in social gaming, just because I've been around for a while and I like to share also to other people. You can check it out if you want to. When it comes to Nonstop Games, it was founded last year as Games Made Me, and released pretty quickly a game called Dollar Isle, which is a virtual city builder done purely in HTML5, running on iPad, running in all browsers, and has been really well received. So we're already making revenue on it. And then we opened an office here in Singapore, in Asia, and we also launched a second game in beta roughly a month ago called Paint Stars. All of these games, you can go to the website and try them out, and they work. So that's nice. Obviously, the experience is best on iPad, because especially in the painting game, because you have a lot of screen real estate. But try them out on different browsers, different computers, and they will work. Then we rebranded the company to fit more the promise of HTML5. I will go into these later, but really getting into the game non-stop, no waterfalls, no nothing, just instantly launch the game. And that's why we call Nonstop Games. We have very high ambitions. Our ambition is to be the #1 mobile browser-based company. And to getting there, we're also opening a San Francisco office to have a wide span. And we intend to be a really multinational, global company. Then I'm going to go into the actual topics or killer benefits of HTML5, starting out at the current state of HTML5. So as you probably know, there's a lot of hype around this. So, Zynga bought Dextrose in Germany. The sum was not disclosed. Disney bought Rocket Pack, a Finnish HTML5 company. I know some guys there. A lot of funding, a lot of hype about the thing. But where are actually the games? So can anyone name a really successful HTML5 social game? It's difficult. It's difficult. There's a couple of ones done more like as a browser demo of technology. So here's Angry Birds working in the Chrome browser using WebGL. This Cut the Rope, excellent games, but they're more done as kind of as a tech demo. So people play them, but they're more demos. There's a couple of companies doing seriously this. So this is Skyscraper City, a fairly good game, actually works. And then there's obviously our games. So try them out. Dollar Isle. This talk is not about Dollar Isle, but I can share that, for example, one-day retention in this is over 35%, which is something which is good already for a Flash game on Facebook. So there, kind of already that points out that customer doesn't care about technology, cares about game experience, and in this game we can deliver that. Our newest game, which is in beta, so it's called Paint Stars, and we call it the Instagram for drawing. What the Instagram means here is that when Instagram launched, there was a lot of photo filter apps, but none of them had community. And community was really key in the success of Instagram, in addition to sharing. And that's what we're building on in this game. Try it out. It's really cool. So should there be a reality check? So there's a lot of hype about HTML5, but actually not so much done. So as you saw, so many of these games are actually tech demos. Really few of the games are actually built for HTML5 ground up. And if you talk with these companies in this space, they're not even calling themselves game companies. They're usually platform companies. We do the platform, we do this, and it does that. And very few of these people actually have gaming background. So this is the kind of like a hype cycle for any technology adaptation. So first everybody's saying, hey, this is the holy grail. And then after that, it kind of like crushes down and, oh shit, not everything works. We have to learn a lot. And we think that we're somewhere here. So there's a couple of companies already gone bankrupt doing this. Other companies are, having success. We are, I think, having quite a lot of success. And we're still going to see, and kind of like maybe are even going down a little bit more, kind of like to really make the reality check that, hey, where we are and what can be done. But usually after this dip, some people get it right. And when you get it right, then you start saying, whoa, I knew HTML5 was good. And then everybody knew it. And that's usual. This has happened for Facebook gaming. I saw it already in 2007. So these games are not making money. And then comes Spit Society. People start hearing that, oh, you make money on Facebook. So let's go to the benefits, the real juice of this talk. So this is the kind of like the first benefit. I'm going to list 7. Usually when people talk about HTML5, it's cross-platform, it's multi-platform. We don't see it like that. It will never, if you write once, and run really well everywhere. You can get an average experience, but you will not get a good experience. So what we're going to talk about is, yes, you can have some of the same code base. So, and how to back it up. So we did $isle. It's a city builder, and then we do a drawing game or a painting game. And here we reused roughly 70% of the back-end code, and even though the games are totally different, 40% of the front-end code. So yes, you can reuse a lot. And then when you're actually doing the game, so browser to browser on desktop is fairly simple, if you forget about the old Internet Explorers and the old Firefoxes. But that's fairly simple. But mobile needs a lot more love. So if you have been doing HTML5, you know that working, for example, Android can be pretty painful. So it's very slow. But on the iOS devices, it works really well. So try out Paint Stars on iPad, and you see that actually the performance is there. There's, like I said, on Android, there's still performance. There's bugs. There's a lot of pain there. Obviously, the Chrome browser is coming out on Android. That can help a lot. And UI needs a lot of work. So if you work on multi-platform, many platforms, you can't have the same game on desktop and iPad on mobile. You have to rework the UI totally. And this makes this write once, run everywhere impossible, because you have to rewrite the UI anyways. Then you have to also think about game design. Game design is really difficult in these games. When you're working on different platforms, different flows, you don't know where the customer comes from, where he's going. It's really critical part. Second thing is also one of kind of like obvious. Everyone can play. But in the end, when you think about it, actually not so obvious. Because some of these games which are hugely successful on App Store, it's great. You can make really a lot of money on App Store. But in the end, social games are about playing with your friends. Not everybody has an iPhone. So if you send a request in a game which is truly social, and it goes to an Android phone or it goes to a desktop, HTML5 is really great for that. Obviously, this benefit is not as important if you're doing a single-player game or you're doing a hardcore game. We see it is for the type of games we do, we see it really critical. Then this is kind of like the biggest benefit. So I haven't seen anyone except us talking about this. We call it game as a link. What game as a link means is that it's a totally revolutionary way to distribute your games. So the game can be run inside of Twitter app. So go to your Twitter app on iPad or on your iPhone or your desktop, and you can tweet about the game, and you can click and launch instantly the game. We can be inside a Flipboard. There's somebody talking about the game on Flipboard on iPad. You click the link, the game launches. We can be inside of Pinterest. Somebody's pinning a picture they've done in Paint Stars. You click it, you get it into the game. People are used to sharing links. That has been around since the birth of Facebook, or birth of Internet. So you can copy-paste and put it on your Skype. You can put it on your status. You can put it anywhere, and people know how links work. Links can be a little bit geeky, they look geeky, but they have been around for so long time that people know how they work. And we've seen that from our stats, so it's not just hearsay. Then obviously you can be on the social networks. You can be on Facebook, where we currently are, on mobile and desktop. You can be also on other social networks. So this is really, for us, one of the biggest benefits. Game as a link. You get instantly, directly into the game. You get into your city. Each gamer has a unique link. So if you go to my city in $isle, it's called Berlin, berlin@$isle.com, and you get into my own city. That's impossible in Flash or any other technology for that matter. Then it's open. So this is also something some people say. What is the real benefit of being open? So this is nice from TechCrunch. The real benefit of that is that every company pretty much supports it. So there's nobody who says no to HTML5 totally. They also obviously have the bad side is that is somebody doing it really well? Does somebody really push forward? Microsoft seems to love HTML5. Adobe is now in HTML5 on mobile. So, and all these companies are supporting HTML5. So that's the good side. Nobody's kind of like saying no, like Steve did for Flash. So that's a real benefit. Then the thing which is for social games critical. Games are always up to date. So if you have done social games, you know that you have to A/B test, you have to run new iterations each week. And this is from my iPhone App Store, so 89 games that needs an update. You don't update all this stuff. I bet that if you take out your iPhone and take a look at your App Store, there's a couple of red dots there, right? So this is very important in social games. And if you have done social games on App Store, you probably have run into this problem yourself. So how do I do an A/B test when I don't know who has updated and you have to install and all this stuff? So with HTML5, the game is always up to date. Super easy A/B test. And this is critical. This is really critical. Number 6, not dependent on app stores. So these are some screenshots of popular magazines on the internet. So there's a lot of things. You don't know when it's going to be approved. You might be rejected. All this stuff is kind of like, it gives a lot of uncertainty if you're a small developer and living on one game. Obviously, you're a bigger company, have tens of games. You can live with a 1 week or 1 month delay when you're doing your new version and then pushing out for a new release and for a new review. But for a small company especially, when you just have 1 or 2 games, this can be really, really bad. And when you are doing kind of on your own website, HTML5, you can be distributed everywhere. You're not depending on kind of like an entity that you can't control. Obviously, this has bots. Everything has bots. So on app stores, the stuff you love is discovery. If you have good discovery, obviously you get featured and you get a lot of downloads. Discovery is great in App Store. You're losing this with HTML5 unless you use a wrapper like PhoneGap. Other thing which I personally love also on App Store is the payments. So this is just a screenshot how easy it is to pay in the App Store. And when you're doing HTML5 and you're not inside a wrapper, you're losing this good stuff as well. The 7th one is instant accessibility. And this sounds like what is it about really? It's a little vague, but try it out. I encourage you, if you have an iPad, go to your Twitter app, search with the hashtag $, which is the hashtag for our game, which people use when they tweet inside a game, and you'll find quite a lot of tweets. Click on one of them, and the actual game launches inside the Twitter app. In 5 seconds, you're inside the game. No installation, no authorization, no app store, no install, no anything. In 5 seconds, you're playing the game. And this channel is for us huge. And I haven't seen anyone else talk about it, but it's huge for us. So this is kind of like this, and the game as a link, definitely the biggest advantages and killer benefit of HTML5. So kind of like a summary, I talked about this. There's the same code base. There's everyone can play. There's this game as a link, what we call it. It's open. It's always up to date. There's no app store, and there's instant accessibility. But wait a minute, there's also a couple of buts. So it's not, just roses. So these are stuff that, I want to address as well. So somebody saying it's faster or easier to do HTML5 games, that's not true. You have a good native programmer, he will probably do the same functionality quicker. There's discovery problems. This is obvious. This is the biggest thing. Some people say it's performance. I say it's discovery. Discovery is all. Payments, animations, performance issues. Limited game times you can do. I wouldn't do an FPS or an RTS or racing game for that matter in HTML5. And there's no sound. In some game times it doesn't matter. Some game times it's critical. But this is again me. But kind of like there's a lot of buts in HTML5. But we do really HTML5 not because it's easy. We do it because it's hard. What this means is that there's less people actually doing it. There's less competition. And sooner or later, somebody will get it right. And we think we have a pretty good understanding of how to do it. And we're determined to do it. So that's actually the reason why we do it. And now I'll talk quickly about the future. So there's a lot of good things going on. So browsers are getting better and better and better. You can already now deliver a good user experience. It's going to be more app-like behavior for HTML5, quicker response times. You can already play in our games and see that they actually respond pretty well. There's new distribution. This is just a couple of examples. There's Pinterest. Every time there comes a new kind of like way to consume content, like Flipboard, Pinterest, there's always links involved. When there's always links involved, user clicks them, then we can launch our game. There's better payments coming around. There's SMS, there's different ways. There's Facebook credits on mobile. So that piece is also getting better. And there's the Facebook App Center. I put it a question mark because they haven't given us so much information on what it actually does, but it supports HTML5. So it remains to be seen. It can be huge or it can be less. Let's see. I hope for a huge benefit. And then I think in the near future, already this year, there will be a first real hit game. And we're determined to be one of those. And when this happens, then everybody will open their eyes that shit, there was actually something. So this was actually the end of my talk. If you're interested in slides, you can add me on Twitter. I will be tweeting them there. This is our crew. Currently 6 people just. We're hiring quite heavily this year. So if you're interested in an opportunity with us and be making the future with us, you don't just get the slides, but you apply for a job. Any questions or comments? There.
There's been a lot of talk in like the web development community recently about responsive design with HTML5, like having websites that scale gracefully as you resize your browser window or have different bandwidth. Is that something that can work for games? Like, do you have a single HTML page you're rendering on all different browsers, or are you still treating mobile and desktop separately?
So if you try out, for example, Dollar Isle, our city builder, if you go with a desktop, you will see that there's different animation, there's different UI, there's more animation actually. There's birds flying and there's clouds, and the UI elements differ. If you go with an iPad, it looks different. So we are doing all this stuff. Obviously also supporting landscape orientation, all this, and adapting towards that. Then go on the mobile, we strip down a little bit again. So we take out a little bit more animation, we strip down the UI, so we adapt according from where you come. But yes, definitely, I think that's the only way to go. Otherwise, you will have this, Swiss Army knife, which is good at nothing. Yep.
What about sound in HTML5 games? It's a bit robotic to do this, right?
Yeah. So the question was about sound. So I even have it a bullet point. So currently, I would say there's no sound. So you can make a kind of background music loop. In some games, this is obviously critical. So if you play Diamond Dash, for example, in Diamond Dash, the sound is critical. And on HTML5 right now, you couldn't do that. So that's a big disadvantage right now. Obviously, there's some light in the tunnel, so there will be coming sounds. But in, for example, our games, the Paint game, you don't need sound. So I also run in my previous jobs A/B test with what is the importance of sound. And in some games, there's no visible change in retention, for example, or monetization if you have sound or not. So that's kind of like a pretty good argument. But that's not true for all games. We try to make those games where the sound, not having sound is not a problem. A good question. Thanks. Anything else? If not, thanks you.